So I don't have 2
Awesome.
screens, so I'm gonna flip
And
it.
we are live now. So, hello, everybody, and welcome to Writing Sprint Thursdays, a special edition of Writing Sprint Wednesdays with Hank and Doug. We're in for a good time today. We're going to do two 20-minute sprints, I think is what we're going to aim for. The first one starting at 5 after. I'm going to post the link in the chat here so that everybody can join us at wordsprints.org if you want to. Again, that's built by the folks behind Dabble, so it feels very much the same when you're writing in it as it would in Dabble, which is why I feel fine writing in there. Hank, you are working on your magical realism today, right?
I am. I'm continuing that short story that I started a few weeks ago, and I was telling you right before we went live that having this opportunity to just kind of free write and let me write the characters and kind of explore that has really unlocked the possibilities. So it started as this was going to be a short story, and I can see the novel potential now. So probably
Excellent.
after today, um, I will start kind of trying to lay out some plot to see where this could go as a novel. So I'm pretty stoked about it.
Awesome. That actually might be an interesting article on W, how to turn a short story into a novel, because I think that's not an uncommon thing for writers to encounter,
Right.
especially when
If
you're
you
doing
could,
something fun like this.
if you could write that article before I
Yeah.
begin with transformation, that would be helpful.
Okay. I'm not doing anything else. I'll get on it. I jotted down some notes about what I want to write today because I'm going to start a new chapter in my book, and this one will be where the antagonist from the last two chapters is going to start his real redemption arc in this chapter.
Nice.
He went from being top of the food chain to as low as you can possibly get, and now that's going to turn around, or it's going to start to turn around with some outside influence prodding him along. So that's what I'm going for, and we'll see how it plays out.
Nice.
And I
Nice.
have my lo-fi playlist queued up already. That's an important part of my writing process. So
But I thought I was, never mind.
you were making the music for me before we started the stream today, everyone. Hank, when I said I was getting my music queued up, Hank just started beatboxing, one might say. So awesome. And I see we have a few people in the participants uh, panel, I guess, of the word sprint. I will in another minute, so just with a minute before it starts, I'll share the link again to round up any stragglers, but it'll be good. I don't think I actually even have a word count goal this time around. I've been Honestly, I've been in a little bit of a slump when it comes to writing lately. So it's been a
Mm,
little slower, but hopefully this new chapter kind of propels me forward.
yeah. And this first sprint is 20 minutes. Is that
20
right?
minutes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And if we have the time after, we'll do another 20-minute one. If we get too much chatting in, we'll just do 15 minutes, but
All right.
we will
Sounds good.
see. Okay. We have a minute and a half. If you're hanging out in the chat with us, let us know what you're writing for this writing sprint. Wherever you're from, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We can't see the Twitter chat, unfortunately, but hopefully you're going to be getting some good words in over there too if you're watching us from there, or X, not Twitter.
Whatever it is this week.
Whatever you want to call it, that's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
I don't know
Elon
if I'll
says
ever get
it's
to that
X.
point.
Who are we to argue?
React Reflect is just editing today. You know what? That's awesome. We're glad that you're joining us for the editing process. That's arguably more difficult than writing the book itself. So we're glad we can help you out with that one.
Absolutely. You could definitely argue that.
Oh, and I'm going to one more time post the link in YouTube and Facebook chat, so that anyone can join us over there. We are starting in 30 seconds. When that happens, I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear me breathing excitedly at what I'm writing. I guess I should share my screen too.
Yeah.
Let's see
And
if
I'll
I.
step off stage and join you back in the intermission and we'll recap the festivities.
Excellent. 10 seconds. Here we go. I'm going to mute up, and happy writing, everyone. Be back in 20 minutes. Alrighty, we are back. Let's do that. Pause my music, come back to the big screen here. Well, that was fun. It
Yeah, it was. How'd you do, Doug?
726 words myself. But I don't know, like, I have a feeling a lot of these ones are going to change. I don't know if I really liked a lot of the tone that I had, but I think
Yeah,
the actions are there. The scaffolding's there, I think.
yeah,
What
yeah.
about you?
I got 847.
Nice.
But like I said, going in, I definitely had um, a clear direction where I was
Mhm.
going, and I felt like I'd really dialed into
Good.
the protagonist voice, and it was almost all from his point of view. So it was just you know me talking or him talking through me. I guess,
Excellent.
So those are good days when it flows like that, because I didn't have a lot to have to type and stop and figure out and type and stop and figure out.
Yep.
So
Yep. Awesome.
it was a good day.
Now, if you're in the chat here, let us know how many words you wrote. As there were 5 people hanging out in the word sprint with us, or the writing sprint with us, and we wrote a cumulative 2,147 words, which is fantastic.
Heck
That is
yeah,
awesome. That's like a chapter.
that is.
Um,
That's a
let me.
solid chapter.
I wish what I should do is keep a track of how many words we write each session, so we
We
can
should
just
start doing
show.
that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we got to be getting close to like half a novel's worth now over the last month and a half. Let's
That'll be
we had some chats coming in as we were going here. Kara says it's actually kind of nice to have a Thursday sprint. I'm going to lay down some basics for a new story, kind of a sci-fi thing about malevolent tumbleweeds. Very cool. I agree about the Thursday sprint. The writing sprint Wednesdays is just a nice alliteration, though. I think I think that's
right.
why we went with it. We
Cara,
also
it's funny because I'm at my daughter's house in Texas right now, and we were out on the front porch last night, and a tumbleweed went right down the street in front of her house.
was it a malevolent tumbleweed though?
I don't know. I didn't stop to have a conversation with it. I just watched it warily and
Mhm.
let him know, got my eye on you.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, I've never considered that tumbleweeds could be malevolent, but the potential's there.
The, it's never zero.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
Awesome. And as for having on Thursday, yeah, maybe if we get enough feedback, if we get enough participation in these sorts of things, we can think about moving it around the week. Because I know having it static works very well for us, but people have changing schedules. People prefer different days. It's tough.
Yeah.
If it were up to me, we'd have a writing sprint every day. But
Yeah.
but
Well, and to peel back the curtains a little bit, we had been planning some things for this fall, and we will be dipping our toes into maybe daily writing sprints.
Mhm.
Not
We'll see.
not to
That's
give
the
anything
hope.
away, but keep your
Yeah.
ears out. You never know what news might come along.
And then no, do you ever do weekend sprints? It would be great to participate in a weekend sprint sometime. Not at the moment, primarily because at Dabble we work Monday through Friday. So weekend sprints means that we have to kind of take personal time away, which works because I think a lot of us do write on the weekends, but weekends also tend to get pretty busy, I think, in terms of non-working life.
Yeah.
That said, right, our wordsprints.org is a public free to use site. So if you want to
Yep.
set up a writing sprint, you can head on over to like the Storycraft Cafe. And there are always groups going on there that try and do writing sprints together. So you might get some folks there. And maybe we could do, a writing sprint on the weekend every now and then, but that's something we'll have to chat about behind the
Well,
scenes, I think.
and if you decide to do a writing sprint, post it in the Storycraft Cafe. And if Doug or I are around and
Mhm.
happen to be working on something, I might jump in and join you. Sure.
Yep. Yep. Though it is Saturday mornings, it's farmers market season. You'll always find me there. Abby showed up a little bit late. Hi, Abby. Wrote 202
Abby.
words. I told Abby we were having the sprint today and she should come on by or I'll be very sad with her. I did not say that. But Abby, for those who don't know, writes right now all of the articles going up on W. And I think I mean, you got to have like 120, 150 articles up there.
Yeah, I think the technical term is a metric ton of
Yeah,
W
I think that is
articles.
the technical term.
Yeah.
And TW wrote 365. TW, did you write that in the wordsprints.org session, or did you write that on your own? Oh, you shared the link. Perfect. I'm going to set up our next word sprint here. We'll start it in 5 minutes, let's say.
So, Doug, this that you're working on, this is your next novel in your series?
It is. It is the third novel in my series. Let me just grab the link here. And it is a long time coming. I know I have some very patient fans, which I'm very thankful for, because I took like 2021 was when I put out my second book in this series. So it's been, a few years. 2021 is also the year I got married and bought a house and adopted a dog. So it was a busy time. And then 2022 was just very much a pandemic year for me, I'd say. And 2023, I did some co-authoring and released 3 books then, but not in this series. So I thought to myself, okay, we've done the other stuff. It's time to come back. Let's focus on this series, because there's some really exciting things in store for it.
Will this series end in a trilogy?
No, I got 6 books, baby.
I forgot you're a fantasy author.
Yeah, trilogy, please. I wouldn't know how.
What are we writing? Short stories? Trilogies. Jeez.
That's the other thing. The novels that I co-authored were shorter. They were like 60 to 70,000 words. And so now that I'm back to writing fantasy and I'm aiming for 140, 150,000 words, it's like writing 2 of the other books. So it is just taking longer. And but it's going to be good. And I have some ideas for a horror novel that I want to get done this year. I have another fantasy series budding in my head that I'm just kind of forcing back down because I need to focus. But it's tough. Just there's no end to the ideas that we come up with, right, Hank?
That's right. Ideas. We are an idea factory. Yeah. Executing on those ideas.
All right, and I have shared the link to the new word sprints in the chat there, so go ahead and pull that up if you could. There we go. Great ideas come at the most inconvenient times. You are correct, Abby. Which is all the time, and that's the problem. There are just so many ideas, and just finding the bandwidth to execute them all. It's tough. I remember we have a minute and a half. I remember reading a nonfiction book, must have been about finance, or maybe it was about goals or something. I don't know, something like that. And they were talking about how money is important. We all know money is important, but you can always earn another dollar. You can't earn another minute.
Right.
And so now I view time very differently. And yeah, it's tough. It is a very finite resource. But we don't need to get existential here. Yeah. Or we can. I don't. I have no problem getting existential.
Yeah. If you've ever attended a word sprint, you know.
Word sprints with Hank and Doug, I left feeling dread. Awesome. All right, let me just what I've done too, I can't remember if I mentioned this at the beginning, but I made a quick jot note list of what I want to write in these writing sprints. And I find if you're just getting started with these sprints, doing that makes quite a big difference.
Yeah.
Because you can really feel the time pressure, and sometimes that can make you go, okay, what next? What next? What next? But if you take 5 minutes to map it out at the beginning, makes it a lot easier. And I'm once again behind on sharing my screen. Let's do that one. Share. We have 15 seconds to go here before we start rocking and rolling. And alrighty, everyone. Happy writing. We'll see you back here in 20 minutes. All righty. We are done now. Let me close that. We'll remove that. And let me catch up on the chat. Let me pull Hank back onto screen here. Uh, there
That's
we
okay,
go.
Double. I'll pull myself up.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted me to or not.
I was just ranting into the darkness there.
Oh, well, how'd you do?
780, a little less this time, but still solid.
Good. I got 640, a little less as well, and solid enough. I think I'm defaulting to action, and I really want this chapter to be more character driven. So I'm going to need to do some serious thinking. But I think the bones are there. We did have a handful of comments come in. Ilsa, always late, keeping track when you're going live, apparently. Well, Hank and I have this running joke that we have a standard podcast time of 2 p.m. Eastern. So the vast majority of our events are 2 p.m. Eastern time, which I know doesn't work for everyone, especially we have an international audience here, but it does tend to work for us, and especially guests that we bring on. So
and through much debate, that just seems to be a time that East Coast and West Coast, U.S. or Canada, we can get the most people at that time during the day. So there's a little bit of science behind it, and also it just kind of works for us.
I think it also works for like more dinner time or post dinner time for a lot of folks in Europe and in Africa, and so apologies if it doesn't always work, but we do what we can. And we're glad that when you can join us. Kara, I love it so much when everything freezes up. Oh no, that is a pain, but at least you got some basic character sketches drawn up for the tumbleweed tale, so it wasn't a total loss. We'll take wins where we can get them. Technology can be rough sometimes.
I can't wait to read this tumbleweed tale.
Right. I want to know more about it.
I do too. I need to know what I need to be wary of next time.
And Leia, always joining late too, but making the best of it. And we're glad that you are making the best of it. And even if you join for the last 10 minutes of a writing sprint, just use that momentum and like do your own after. Feel free to get some more words in. I will say it's more fun writing with everyone here. I don't know if it's more fun showing everyone that I'm writing as I'm writing, but that takes a little getting used to. But it is a good time. I always like these.
And make sure if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and hit the little bell notification, and that way YouTube can let you know, hey, there's a live broadcast coming up, and maybe that'll make it a little easier to keep track of when we're going to go live. I know that it can be a little chaotic sometimes because we just have so much content that we want to bring to you guys, and
that's true. That's true. I do have a couple things to just mention while we're here before we leave. Feedback Friday normally would be tomorrow, but we're going to push that a week just because of some scheduling difficulties. So look forward to that here on the channel. And premium subscribers, you'll be getting an email this afternoon about some workshops going on next week. But for everyone, premium and literally everybody else, Hank, you are chatting with Stephen Arian on Tuesday.
Yes.
Awesome. What can you tell us a little bit about that?
He is a fantasy author based in the UK, and he is currently writing a series, a fantasy series based in Persian mythology. So it's a lot of fun. And we're going to. He was on about a year ago when his last book came out, and we kind of talked about this whole idea of fantasy in atypical fantasy settings. And we're going to kind of follow up with him completing this trilogy and just talk about the current state of fantasy and lots of fun stuff. It'll be a fun conversation.
Awesome. I was just thinking about how fantasy has tended to be very Eurocentric. Very Lord of the Rings kind of European style. But I was put onto Gunmetal Gods. That's on
Oh
my
yeah.
next to be read list. That I believe is more Middle East. And Celeste, you did miss the sprint. I'm sorry. We are just wrapping up. And we were saying before, our events tend to be 2 p.m. Eastern time. That's what we call our podcast standard, our standard podcast time.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, but happy to see your name show up in the chat here, if only just for a few minutes. So that is Stephen Arian on Tuesday, and on Wednesday you have Glenn Stewart.
Glenn Stewart, who writes, what's the terminology for it? Science fantasy.
Oh, cool.
Think Star Wars in the well, they have faster that it's a sci-fi world with faster than light travel made possible by mages that are assigned to the Starfleet.
Interesting. I
So,
like that. I
yeah,
always find the mixture of technology and magic so cool, because in most cases it's like one or the other, right? You don't
right,
need one if you have the other.
exactly.
But when they overlap, you can do some really cool things.
Yep, absolutely.
Very
And
cool. All right.
he's someone I discovered, browsing through the Amazon store, and I was looking
Awesome.
for someone who merged those two worlds and did it well. And I stumbled on him, and he has a million books that he's written and a really cool magic system mixed with future sci-fi.
Awesome. I
Love it.
love
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and he's
Excellent.
Canadian too. So
Even better for me.
right,
I swell
yeah,
with patriotism. My heart
right.
is so full. Celeste was writing all night till 7 a.m. this morning, so you overslept. Well, I appreciate your
Well,
commitment to writing.
you,
Great
you
job.
deserve to oversleep, Celeste.
Yeah.
You'll get
Awesome.
no
Okay.
guff from me.
So some premium workshops next week. Look out for that email, premium subscribers, later today. And then 2 Storycraft Cafe interviews next week, some fantasy, some science fantasy. I'm
A
very excited.
loaded week.
Yeah, it's going to be a very fun week. And
Yeah.
we will have Feedback Friday next week because we're pushing it. And we have our office hours next week. You're going to be seeing a lot of us next week, it seems.
You're gonna be, good grief, them again.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. I
Yeah.
think we hit a combined about 4,500 words. So
Boom.
awesome. Great job, everybody.
Yeah.
We will be, oh, and I guess we're doing Writing Sprint Wednesdays next week too. Wow, there's a lot of us.
Yeah. A lot of us. Yeah.
All right. Well, we hope, since we won't see you tomorrow, we hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you for all those fun events next week.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.